There is a type of person everyone has met. They speak, people listen politely. Then the room moves on, as if nothing was said. They make a suggestion. It gets ignored. 5 minutes later, someone else says the exact same thing, and suddenly the idea has weight, has energy, has a life of its own. And the first person sits there, quietly watching their words live inside someone else's mouth. Ask yourself, honestly, if that person has ever been you. Because here's the truth most people are not willing to face. The problem is almost never what you are saying. It is something far older, far deeper, and far more invisible than your words. It is the signal your entire presence is broadcasting before you even open your mouth. The first thing you must understand is this. People do not take you seriously because of what you say. They take you seriously because of what you cost them to dismiss. Think about that carefully. When someone dismisses your opinion, they pay nothing. There is no consequence. There is no friction. You speak, they look past you, and life continues at the same temperature it was before. You are frictionless. You are safe to ignore. This is not an insult. It is a diagnosis. The people who command rooms, who get listened to, who find that their words land with weight, they are not necessarily smarter than you. They are not necessarily more talented, but they have, consciously or not, made themselves expensive to dismiss. Something about their presence tells the room. Ignoring this will cost you. And the brain, which is always calculating risk, always measuring threat and value, responds accordingly. The second truth is more uncomfortable. You have been trained to make yourself easy, easy to agree with, easy to dismiss, easy to leave behind. From the time you were young, you learned that seeking approval was the path to safety. Smile, agree, don't push back too hard. Be likable, be flexible, be the kind of person people feel comfortable around. And you did it so well that you disappeared. Because here is what no one tells you. Likability and respect are not the same thing. They are not even close relatives. Likable people get invited to things. Respected people get listened to. And most people, in their desperation to be liked, trade away the very qualities that would make others take them seriously. They over-explain. They qualify every statement. I mean, this is just my opinion, but they apologize for their presence before they've even established it. They shrink before anyone has even asked them to. And the room learns the lesson fast. If you do not believe you are worth listening to, no one else will do that work for you. Now pay attention here, because this is where most people miss it entirely. Credibility is not built through words. It is built through pattern. The brain is a pattern recognition machine. Every time you interact with a person, their brain is filing data, running a quiet calculation in the background. Is this person consistent? Do they follow through? Do their words match their behavior? Are they the same in difficult moments as they are in comfortable ones? And over time, without anyone consciously deciding anything, a verdict gets rendered. This person is serious, or this person is noise. The dangerous part is that you often never know which verdict has been reached. People do not tell you they stopped taking you seriously. They simply start having that particular conversation without you. They stop calling you when the stakes are high. They nod when you speak and then make the decision they already planned to make. You were present, but you were not a factor. The third psychological truth operates beneath the level most people are willing to look. Seriousness is a form of scarcity. The person who talks constantly becomes invisible, not because they have nothing to say, but because the brain adapts to frequency. When something appears everywhere, it stops registering as significant. This is not cruelty. It is neuroscience. The people who get listened to most carefully are often the people who speak least freely. They do not fill silence with noise. They do not explain their decisions to people who didn't ask. They do not send long messages justifying their positions. They are not running a campaign to be understood. And because of that restraint, because of that deliberate scarcity, when they do speak, the room tilts toward them. Understand this. Silence is not emptiness. In the social world, silence is pressure. It creates a vacuum that other people feel compelled to fill. And the person who is comfortable in that silence, who does not rush to relieve the tension, is always perceived as the one with more power. You have been trained to fill silence, to smooth discomfort, to make things easier for everyone in the room. Stop. There is a fourth pattern, and it is perhaps the most quietly devastating of all. It is the pattern of endless availability. The person who is always reachable, always responsive, always willing to adjust, to accommodate, to come back to the table one more time, who answers immediately, who is never too busy, who never makes anyone wait. This person, on the surface, seems like a good person, reliable, committed. But the psychological signal it sends is corrosive. Availability, when it is unconditional, communicates low demand, and low demand communicates low value, not because of logic, but because of the ancient animal part of the brain that judges worth by scarcity. What is easy to access is rarely treated as precious. The people who command serious attention are not necessarily cold or distant, but they are busy in a way that feels real. Their time is not infinitely elastic. Their attention, when they give it, carries the weight of something that was chosen, not simply defaulted. Ask yourself, when was the last time you made someone wait for you and meant it? Now we arrive at the deepest layer. Because everything above, the scarcity, the pattern, the availability, is about behavior, and behavior can be changed. But below behavior is something harder to reach. It is the relationship you have with your own authority. Most people who are not taken seriously do not have an external problem. They have an internal one. They do not fully believe, at the level beneath conscious thought, that they have the right to take up space, that their perspective has standing, that they are worth listening to not because of what they've achieved or what they can prove, but simply because they are present and they have something to say. And people can feel that doubt, not because they are reading your mind, but because doubt has a texture. It lives in the way you end a sentence as though it's a question, in the way you look around the room for confirmation after you speak, in the way you explain yourself one more time when one time was already enough. Conviction does not shout, but it stands still in a way that unsteadiness cannot fake. The man who apologizes before he speaks has already lost the room. The woman who qualifies her opinion before delivering it has already diluted it. Not because the words were wrong, but because the signal beneath the words told the room. "I am not sure this is worth your time." And the room believed them. So what does this mean for you? It means that being taken seriously is not something you earn through a single impressive moment. It is not about finding the right argument or the perfect phrasing. It is about the cumulative signal you send across every interaction, the pattern you build across time. It means speaking less and meaning more. It means letting your decisions stand without a tribunal of justifications around them. It means being comfortable in rooms where people disagree with you and not rushing to smooth that friction away. It means your presence should have weight before your mouth opens. Because the world does not reward the most talented. It does not always reward the most intelligent. It rewards the people who have learned how to carry themselves as if their perspective has already earned its place at the table, and who behave that way consistently, whether anyone is watching or not. That consistency, over time, becomes a reputation. And a reputation, once set, becomes a self-fulfilling force. People treat you the way they have decided to treat you. And they made that decision largely from watching the way you treat yourself. Once you see this, something in you shifts. You stop performing for rooms that haven't earned your performance. You stop explaining yourself to people whose understanding was never the point. You stop arriving early to prove you're committed and start arriving as though your presence was already understood to matter. And something strange happens. The room begins to feel different, not because it changed, but because you stopped signaling that you needed it too. But here is what this video has not yet told you. Carrying yourself differently is only half of it. There is a second dimension to why people dismiss others, and it has nothing to do with confidence or silence or scarcity. It is something far more strategic, far more invisible. And the people who understand it operate in rooms differently from everyone else. That is what comes next.